Let's put on that chair so you can.
I bought my mother passed away, and that's the estate I bought. The homestead that I was born in. It was an old house.
Well, you'll have a nice one. I would assume that's
I guess they want you Did you read your county's book? Yeah. Good. Well, you were at the yes. There you go.
About everything. There's still an open seat in the second row there, right? What about the back row? There's a seat. Oh, there's a cushy seat. Primos.
He lives about 300 feet from us. Parents died, he lives out in Washington.
Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Welcome to the Door County Maritime Museum. Thanks for braving the cold. But think about how warm it is tonight. It's 12 degrees, come on. It could be way worse. Just wait till tomorrow. Tonight, and I will let the introductions of the program tonight be handled by Mary. And if you haven't met me, I'm Amy Paul. I'm the executive director here at the museum. And what I wanted to do tonight really, really quick is just to tell everybody about our Maritime Lighthouse Tower campaign. If you haven't heard about it, I'd love to talk to you more about it. Many of you have heard about it, seen it on my Facebook page, heard it on the news, seen it on Fox 11, heard me on WDOR.
Yes. Is there anybody who hasn't heard about it?
Anybody that hasn't heard about the Maritime Tower. Anyway, if anybody is interested and hasn't grabbed a brochure and would like one, I would love to pass one out right now. If not, they will be on the back. Great, thank you so much. Please let me know if you have any questions. There's lots of naming opportunities and fun opportunities as far as getting involved. We have need for experts, and many of you are experts in the fields of maritime. In our small slice of heaven here in Door County. And so anytime that you'd like to offer up, we've got planning committees, we've got 10 new exhibits coming, and we always need people to help us with these exhibits. Tom is already on board, so I've already got him snagged. So if any of you are interested in helping us do some of the planning and the research, it's a lot of fun. If you have any questions about the tower, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming tonight, and I will put these on the table in the other room just in case you want to grab one on the way out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to see so many people out tonight. How many of you have been to a speaker series before? How many of you have not been to a speaker series? Okay. How many of you came because you thought you were going to get food tonight? Okay. I have to apologize. It's my fault. I should have called George a week ago and reminded him. But he can tell you about some of the food that he makes. Make sure you ask him questions about what kind of food he makes and what's his favorite recipe and that kind of thing. Excuse me. I'm Mary Stevenson. I'm the Special Events Coordinator here at the museum, and I'm in charge of the speaker series, which runs from November through April this year. If you've missed some of the earlier ones, some of them do get posted on our website. Tonight we're not being taped, so it's a good thing you're here because you won't be able to look at a video. The first Thursday of the month, from November through April, we have this series. We're trying to give back to the community who's been so generous with us. And it doesn't cost you anything to come except a donation of some canned food goods, which I then bring out to feed my people. George is our speaker tonight. I'll talk about him in a minute. We have two more speaker series, March 1st, which is a Thursday, and April 5th, which is a Thursday. And on March 1st, Barb and Ken Wardius, who've written books about lighthouses, will be here to talk about lighthouses. They will be talking about lighthouses in Door County with special emphasis on Cana Island. And on April 5th, Paul Schumacher, excuse me, who's a member of the FOPI group. Do you know what FOPI is? No? Friends of Plum and Pilot Island. There are two islands off the tip of the mainland between Northport Pier and Washington Island. And Plum Island has been restored a lot by this group, the Friends of Plum and Pilot. Excuse me. And then the Pilot Island, they're starting to look at restoration on it. Have any of you ever seen Pilot Island? What's it look like? The cormorants decimated it. It looks like it got bombed.
Yeah.
I mean, no vegetation is left. It's pretty bleak. But the FOPI group, as I love to call them, are looking at that. And Paul's going to talk about the restoration of Plum Island and what they're looking at doing in the future, and Pilot Island. Have any of you been up to Plum? Okay. It's beautiful. Yeah, and they've done a lot of restoration work. And if you'd like to go to Plum Island and you haven't been there, we have the Door County Lighthouse Festival coming up, which if you're a member, you can buy tickets March 19th. If you're not a member, you have to wait till April 2nd. And the trips for Plum Island usually fill up when it's open for the members only. So just so you know, I gave you a tip on that. Also, I would like to just mention the pictures around us, if you've had a chance to look at them. This exhibit will be up until October 21st. I think it's one of the most beautiful collection of photographs I've seen. Unfortunately, I'm hiding one of the nicest ones behind here. It's the Arthur Anderson coming through the fog in the canal. These photos were done by Stephen Ranke. He passed away about a year ago, and he left us his pictures, and so we, in his memory, put together this exhibit to showcase what he did. We'll also have a exhibit that will be going up out in the outer lobby there. That will be starting March 9th. There will be a reception. March 10th, there will be some demonstrations. It is Lee Radke who paints with oils. And he will be selling original oil paintings, and they're going to all be of ships. He's more of an impressionist, but very beautiful, beautiful paintings. There's one on the wall out there if you want to look at it as you leave. But anyway, we'll have that exhibit up from March 9th through the end of May. So that'll be another thing that'll be coming. Okay, George Oram. I called George's house to talk to him the other day, and his son-in-law was there. And his son-in-law, who is my nephew, goes, "George, how do you know my Aunt Mary?" What'd you tell him?
Maritime Museum.
Maritime Museum. But anyway, so we're sort of related. But I knew that George had been working on freighters and ore boats, and everybody's just dying to know about freighters and ore boats. It's something that really consumes people. Another tip I can throw out there, or pitch I can make, the first Saturday in May 5th, I think it is, the shipyard have the Rotary tours. And that's a fantastic thing to do if you've never done it. It's incredible to be able to go around and look at those, and there are people there who tell you about the boats. It's an exciting day. So we sell tickets for that too. Anyway, George was born here in Sturgeon Bay. How many of you ever had your hair cut by Bruce Oram? Okay, Bruce is George's dad, or was George's dad. Was. But anyway, George has been sailing on boats and freighters all of his adult life. Before people got here, we were talking to him a little bit. Tina was trying to get information from him, and he said that he had started down in the shipyards, and his dad said, do me one favor, get a seaman's license.
Get a Siemens card.
Yeah. So what does that Siemens card do for you?
The MMD, it just gets you in on different boats. Years ago, you had to have a little, it was like a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And you just showed it at your picture and went through the Coast Guard and what you could do. You're either a wiper, a oiler, or galley. That was it, entry-level positions.
Mm-hmm.
And you just went into different boats, and that's what you had to show them. And then you wrote everything down, your time, and everything went by your MMD.
Okay.
So,
Well, so he did. He listened to his father. He got that card.
first time.
And years later, he's still working on the freighters. So he's going to talk to you about the different freighters and ore boats he's been on, the Wilfred Sykes, the Elton Hoyt, Joseph Block, which there's a nice picture of the Joseph Block down there at the top. So nice to have these pictures and go, yeah, that's that boat, that's that boat. And also the Adam Cornelius and the Edward Ryerson. George has been a cook on the boats for how long?
Steward 20 years, and the rest of the time second cook.
Okay. So he can tell you about what it is to feed people on the boats. He's only got about, because I know I put it together, about 20 slides. So be free in asking questions if you have any questions as he goes through, and enjoy. George?
Gotta click this again, Mary?
There you go.
That's my home. In case anybody wants to know.
How many feet?
How many? 728 feet. That's how long it is. Self-unloader. Back in the galleys, central. Any rumors that get started, I start them. Keeps everybody hopping. There it looks like we're going up St. Mary's River. There's a picture of one of the rooms I'm in. Kind of messy. You know, it was in the morning, hot. 2 single beds, my chair, coffee maker, can't see the microwave, it's behind the coffee maker, flat screen TV. Yeah, we have satellite out there, so we get 350 stations, anything you want to watch. Like I tell everybody, my door's open from 6 o'clock to 6:05. After that, I don't want to see you till the next morning.
Did you share the room?
No. No, I have my own. I always leave it made up for my relief when I leave. They always stay on the right side. I'm always on the left. I really don't want anybody in my room. I mean, in my bed when I'm gone. And there's part of the bathroom in my room. There's the weight room. You can work out if you want, but you're working 7 days a week. So you really don't want to work out. You get enough workout during the 7 days a week. And the kids nowadays, it's kind of funny, they come on board and, oh geez, I'm not used to working 7 days a week. What do you do when you're at home? Well, I get Saturdays and Sundays off, I sleep. You got all the time to sleep when you're dead. You don't need to sleep now. You know, but that's the way the kids are nowadays. It's a generation of computers and games. I see it with my grandkids. None of them want to work. They all want to be on computers and stuff. You know, so, and there's a bubbler there if you get thirsty. Like I said, some of our galley supplies I leave back over there. Here's a galley. Everything's got to be nice and shiny. I don't like a dirty galley. I want stainless steel to shine. Here, this is our new dishwasher we just got, and these are all cupboards. You got the hot plate here, the fryer here, the griddle here, the slicers over here, and anything you want. That's, when people ask me, how much do you spend a month? I said about 15,500 a month. That's just on galley supplies, that's everything. Meat, milk, yes.
What's the group, crew number?
What,
How many in the group?
19. There's 19 on the boat now. There was 20, 30, 32 when I started. Everybody was doubled up. So over the course of the years, they cut jobs, watchmen, wheelsmen, Q-meds. Everybody got the axe. So one year they cut 7 jobs they cut, you know. But
So, do you cook 3 meals a day?
3 meals a day, 7 days a week. Plus there's always night lunch out, there's hard-boiled eggs, there's salad. I should have got a picture of my salad bar. That's always full. We have weight-conscious people out there. They like to come in and, I think I'll have a salad with some olives and this and that and the other stuff that they usually put on their salad. That's open 24/7. When I first started, I was a night cook, and the steward used to leave me a list of stuff that he wanted done, and everything would be done on my shift. Well, you get the guys off the 8 to 4, or 8 to 12, excuse me, that come in. Can I get a couple fried eggs and some bacon? Yeah, I'll do it for you. You know, so, but now it's just everything is out. Night lunch, salads, hard-boiled eggs, you name it, it's there.
So, forgive me for interrupting, but I'm very curious. Are you the only cook?
No, there's another guy on the boat that I work with.
Okay.
There's another guy.
So, what hours do you work? What hours does the other guy work?
Well, I start at 4 in the morning. And then I get off, I usually knock myself off about 6 o'clock. I get everything done from the night before, ready to go for the day. Then I go up to my room at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, about 5 to 7, I just 12 stairs down, and I'm right at my job. So that's what I do. Then I start my job, I serve breakfast from 7 to 8, I'm off till 10, I go back, do lunch, 12 o'clock I'm off, and that's the time I wait for, because then it's nap time. You know, everybody says, oh, you take naps yet? Yeah, I still take naps every day, 7 days a week, from 12 to 2:30 I take a nap. Then I go down, serve supper. We serve from 4:30 to 5, so usually by 5 to 5 I'm out of the galley. Then my day is done, and I just wait till the next day to start over.
Who does the dishes?
We both do. That's the fun part.
The good news that meal is from 4:30 to 5, and then you.
4:30 to 5, whatever's in the sink, when we go for supper, stays in the sink, but like breakfast and lunch, that gets taken care of right away before we're done. It's just a routine. You gotta have a routine in order to work in the galley, and speed is of the essence if you wanna get out of there. I've seen guys that don't get out of the galley till 1:30 in the afternoon. It's like, why are you down here so long? Well, I had to do this and do the dishes, and it's just a routine. That's all it is.
Is there a dishwasher?
Yeah, right here. Where that bar is, that's a brand new one.
Okay.
Brand new one, they just installed it. Otherwise, we had the old cover, and then the handle you push. And you could crank up the steam on the side if you wanted, for more sanitized dishes.
How long does it take the dishes to wash and dry?
Pots and pans take 6 minutes, plates take 2.5. They're sanitized by the time they come out. Silverware separate, you do that. You have
Awesome.
baskets. You have plates and silverware and cups, they go together. Silverware and cups go together. Plates go separate. Pots and pans go separate. Everything's done. If you, like the one cook, when I was second cook, she burned everything. Not that, there's a few women out there, but I said, you have to burn everything in a pot? These are great. Well, show me how you do it. Well, real easy. I'll show you. I put a grate on the top of the stove, and I said, there, now it's not burnt. Just run around with stainless steel and run it through, and you're done. Oh, yeah, I'll have to try that. Next day, burn everything up.
So what's a typical breakfast?
Typical breakfast: sausage, bacon, pork sausage patties. You have eggs any style, over easy, over light, omelets, French toast, pancakes, You name it, you can have it. Juice is always out. You have orange juice, tomato juice, grape juice, apple juice, cranberry juice, cran apple, prune juice for the old guys, which there isn't too many of us anymore. Milk is either in the big machine. It's a regular five gallon bag. That's homogenized, and then we have 2% skim underneath, next to the juice. So you can have basically anything you want. Lunch can run anywhere from 11 to, we serve from 11 to 12, and that can be anything from whatever soup you want. Like one guy wanted chili, so I made chili, and then he says, oh, how about grilled cheese? Well, yeah, I'll make you grilled cheese, but there's Lake Eros, Reubens, hot dishes, because you got other people on the boat. You have to have a variety. And a lot of guys, like I said, they're weight conscious, so they get a tuna stuffed tomato, a salmon stuffed tomato, bed of lettuce, anything just to keep them happy. Because if you don't have a happy crew when they're eating, you might as well forget it. You might as well forget it. You got to keep them happy in the galley.
So you said that, like a salad bar, how often do you get new food in?
Every day. What do you mean, new food?
Well, like when you go to port, you go to the grocery store? I mean, how does
Well,
that
we
work?
had 5 grocers years ago. Now we have 1 that we deal with. So everything comes whenever we get in. It's a grocery store. It's Strachan Van Teel's down in Hammond, Indiana. And they bring everything. And these guys, when they unload the van, they come in 3-piece suits. It's kind of funny to watch them. It's like, really? You guys are unloading in 3-piece suits. Everything's in boxes. And they got it taped. I mean, a hurricane could hit it and nothing would happen. So then you have to go through, mark everything you got, which takes longer, because they put lettuce in this one, canned goods in this one, cereal in this box, meat over here. So you got to go through everything. Nothing is organized. And it takes time.
So they deliver, then how long would it be that you'd have to make that last? I mean, 5 days, 10
Usually
days?
12 days. 12 days is usually the limit. I mean, a lot of times we'll run out of stuff. I can get it at Aloise in Duluth if need be, or Two Harbors will bring it. When we go to Canada, they'll bring it right down to, but then customs has to come along and they want to visit for a while. We had one guy, it's kind of funny. In Canada, you can only bring 5 cartons of cigarettes. Okay. Now Indiana, they're $40 a carton. So I put 5 cartons down. And the one guy, deckhand, he thought he was going to be funny, put 50. I said, man, that's never going to fly. Customs is going to come down, they're going to bust you. Oh, I don't worry about it, I'll straighten it out. Well, guess what? He got escorted off the boat. He got escorted off the boat.
They're serious.
They're serious, very serious.
Oh, yeah.
Very serious. Same thing with Cuban cigars. With all their duty huts they have in Canada, you can smoke Cuban cigars, but you can't bring them back with you. That's called contraband. I said, you gotta be kidding me. Said, if you want to buy them, buy them. But we're just gonna take them away and escort you off the boat. And that's not fun, because they get you to a point, and then you gotta get home from there. So it's really not worth it.
So you're basically at 10 to 14 days, like port to port?
Yeah,
Now,
basically.
Now don't take this the wrong way, but I just assumed, the boat came to port, you filled it up with the ore, and you sailed to the next port. Like, what do these 18 guys do?
Everybody's working around the clock.
Well, what are you doing? I mean, the ore is sitting in the boat.
The ore's in the cargo
So what's
holds.
kinda
You have the
your-
Q-Mids down in the engine room. They're 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 4. They work around the clock, 4 on, 8 off. Okay? Then the wheelsman, he's 4 on, 8 off, same shift. Okay? Then you have the mates. They do the same thing, 4 on, 8 off. Same with the engineers. Galley, we work a straight through. Our days busted up. Okay? Everybody does work, except for if it's rainy or crappy or snowing out. Then the deckhands get a day off. Sunday they usually have off. So then it's pizza and chicken wings or something light, because you never see them all day long.
George, what's a Q-Med?
Qualified mechanic for the engine department.
What does a deckhand do?
Oh God, they help tie up the boat, they chip, they paint, suji, which is Belgian for scrubbing on our boat. They do everything, anything you can think of, anything you can think of.
How many on board?
19.
That can't.
Oh, there's 3 plus a bosun. Yeah, 3 plus a bosun.
Now, here's a basic question, what's a second cook and what's a steward?
One just handled, well, the second cook does, it's kind of broke up, it's weird. AMO implemented that the steward couldn't do any dishes or anything in their new contract, which is wrong, because I came up through the hauser pipe, porter, second cook, night cook. You know, you gotta work together. So, a lot of these second cooks and stuff, they're like, I'm not doing that. Stewards, I'm not doing that. It's like, yeah, you gotta help so we can get out of here. You know, if you don't help, the work doesn't get done. It doesn't get done. It's just a few of them that say no, they're not doing it. But usually by the end of their time, they're doing it. You know, one guy told him, I said, check your boxes down over here. There's 6 boxes over here, and around the front, and the ice cream is right underneath this wax paper. I said, you check those boxes out. I'm going to bed. It was in the afternoon, you know, right after lunch. He came aboard, and I came down at 2:30, and he was sitting at the tables in the galley, and I said, did you go through the boxes? No. I said, why not? I said, that's your area, you gotta see what's what. You know, the milk, the juice. Didn't have time. He was playing on his game. I said, you didn't unpack it, did ya? He says, no, why? I said, well, might as well go. If you don't listen, there's no sense in me having you on the boat. You gotta listen, you gotta follow and take direction. If you don't, you're done. So, he had a short life. We'll move to the next one. This is Port Inland. This is a stern shot where we load stone. This is some of the material we're taking up to 2 harbors or Duluth. It's a nice spot up in Michigan, Gulliver, Michigan. A lot of fish, you can catch fish, you can swim, do whatever you want in the summer. We take a lot of stone up. We used to run up empty, but now we take a lot of stone with us. So every trip we load stone, we have to haul like 1.5 million tons of stone. Take that up and unload it, usually in Duluth, and then we go to 2 harbors and load ore. And since that's a U.S. Steel dock in 2 harbors, if they have boats, they get loaded ahead of us. So we may wait 3-4 days before they load us.
Can you fish while you're waiting?
Oh, sure.
So
When
you
I'm
can
off-
cook a fish dinner here and there?
Oh, yeah. Well, in the fall of the year, the salmon come in there. So when I was on the Sykes, they would back in, and I would tell the captain, turn the rudder and just run the wheel over. And it washes them up, and they hit their heads on the so I'd have the deckhands pick them up, then they bring them up and I'd clean them and make them for dinner.
Any other kind of fish, or just only salmon, or was other kinds of? Or basically
Northern.
There was some northern.
Oh yeah, we had one guy, he'd go out and catch northern, he'd stand on a sandbar and cast.
Yeah.
And I'd hear him, hey, I got one. I got another one. He'd be sitting there going like this, following the fish.
Cool.
And it's like, come on, Ron, get 4 more and then we can have dinner. And
No
the
walleye?
No, no
Okay.
walleye.
Okay.
Perch, oh,
Oh, that's good.
schools of them. Right off the back of the boat, it's like, okay, I'll just drop my fish line down there and watch them. I use little shrimp on the little ones, the little shrimp.
Sure.
Come in a bag, use them for bait, and you reel them up. Some spit the hook out halfway out, you know, the fish, but you get some nice pounders, 1.5 pound perch. So, and this is their rail system here, which they load. It's got rails, it runs up and down, everything comes from here. And then they do the cargo holes, you gotta load it so you don't break its back, I guess. That's mate jargon. But it has to be loaded in such a fashion that, you know, forward, aft, midsection, And there's Carlos, he's in the popcorn stand. He watches out, makes sure no terrorists come aboard the boat. That was implemented for the wheelsman, when they cut the watchman's job. He watches everything. He watches the boom, he watches the cables, who comes aboard, who gets off. He's got a list, of people that get on and off the boat. Otherwise, if you leave, we've already left and left a couple guys behind. Well, then it's up, they got a time posted. If you leave before that posted time and the guys aren't back, the company has to pay for their travel. They don't like that. So everybody has to sign in and out.
So why do you call that the popcorn stand?
That's just the name they gave it, because they sit there for snow, rain, foul weather, whatever,
So how many people have that position?
There's just three. There's just three people that have that position. There's just three people. That's all they do. Wheel and work the popcorn stand.
Question?
So I have two questions. What kind of stone are they hauling, and what is it used for when it gets to Duluth or to harbors?
Limestone, it's used in the blast furnaces for making ore. They make ore pellets out of it. When ore comes out of the ground, it's raw. It's like a slab.
Okay.
Up in the mines. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you saw North Country, the movie, with Charlize, I think it was Charlize Theron was in it. That was filmed up in Two Harbors, at the mine there. They had big ropes around where we couldn't go. They were shooting that day. And a lot of the bigger trucks they were driving, the Euclids, it was kind of funny. We were watching them go back and forth. Well, we call them Euclids, but they're cats now. They used to have Euclids years ago. This one's coming into Port Inland. That's a dangerous break wall. There's a sandbar right over in this area, and you got to get it just right. If you don't, you're going to be hung up on a sandbar. Luckily, I never was on a boat that hit it, but I heard of one guy that hit it. He was on there for 12 hours. He had to wait for tugs to come from Sturgeon Bay. So I would have liked to seen that bill. $1,500 to start the engine, $1,000 an hour. This is a far one. This is Port Inland again. This is all their bigger rock. It's made into smaller ones. When it comes, they just blast and dig it out. Comes on cars. There's a rec room. That's where everybody sits, and like I said, we got the TV there. Some of the good poker games you all heard about. That's First Mate Johnny Olson. He's telling the deckhand what he wants him to do. There's pop machine upstairs if you want pop. The boat doesn't provide it. They just provide soap and that's it, towels. Any questions?
So if, say, somebody wanted to work on a ship, would they be hired for a season, for a week at a time?
You start off as a relief. A lot of the guys are starting off as relief. My son-in-law, Mary's nephew, I'm getting him out when I worked with Interlake years ago. I talked to Bob Barker the other day, the president of the company, and he's going to send him an application and get him out there. Rich will take anything he can get. He's at that age, he wants to start working, he don't care. So trying to get out, yes, you'd start off as a relief. It might be a month. Most of the time, years ago, it was kind of funny. They'd say just a 2-week job. Okay. So the guy'd be out there 60 days, 90 days, 120. God, how long is this 2 weeks going to go? I said, might as well go get your winter gear because you're here for the year. You're here for the year. And they would never tell the new people that. Somebody that was always there had to tell them. But go ahead.
So when they're loading the boat, how many times do they have to go back? How many passes do they have to make to fill the pockets?
We shift quite a bit at Port Inland. We shift quite a bit. I don't know how many times they shift forward. I'm in the back of the boat, so I really don't know that question. I could find out for you though.
Well, thank you.
I could find out, let you know. There's my refrigerator, my desk. Here's coming into Cedarville, another stone port. We usually blend our stone. Take half a load at Port Inland and half a load at Cedarville. And then when they unload it, they open up the different gates and they blend the stone for the pellet making.
This is Michigan now, or?
Yes, yeah, this is Cedarville, Michigan. Yeah, that's another good spot for fishing. I was reading the Door County Advocate, a lot of the unloading rigs along in here, they came from the quarry in Sturgeon Bay. When they dismantled it, they barged it up there. When I said something to the mate, he goes, "You're kidding me." I said, "Oh, I was reading online last night on my computer in my room." He's like, "I gotta check that out." Well, it came right from the quarry here in Sturgeon Bay. There's another shot, Cedarville. Now there's a famous lock everybody sees. I don't know how many are boat nerds in here. You are? It's a good thing. That's what I'm going to do when I retire. How do I play that, Mary?
When we get to that slide, I'll come up
Okay.
and start it.
There's one I really want you to see. This was the lock days. They had people there, and I actually knew people when we were coming up. I was on the back of the boat, and I knew a couple guys. There was people lined up, and there's the entrance to the locks. And that's all a government area. You just can't walk in there. You have to have a TWIC card, and you have to have a boat. You know, just because you have a TWIC card, you can't walk around in there. It's a government installation. In fact,
Is that part of Canada, or where are we?
well, you have Michigan
Oh, okay,
on your left, Sioux Canada on your right.
okay.
So,
So what river, where are
Is
you?
Lake Superior or?
yeah, that's Lake Superior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's coming up the St. Mary's River. You're in Lake
Okay,
Superior.
St. Mary's River.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's, this is where the movie was made, North Country. Gotta think of the name of this, Two Harbors. No, Silver Bay, excuse me. Silver Bay, that's where the movie was made, that's their smelting plant. Over here is where they take the raw material and make it into pellets that you see. Well, that's coal, here's a pile of pellets here. And then they have the unloading rig for the straight deckers, which they don't have straight deckers anymore. They have tug and barge that come in there and load.
What's a straight decker?
No boom, like the Ryerson, no boom. And the Ryerson was really a nice boat. She was just as fast loaded as she was unloaded. I mean, those guys up, when we used to load up in Marquette, they'd go by and they'd kick the hatches on the bottom of the unloading chutes, and that's how they loaded it. Them guys would walk around, they had a fall line on the line, they'd hook on the rod, and they'd just go along and kick the chutes open, and they'd load that way. 3 hours was tops we spent in Marquette, so you didn't even have time to go up the street. There's another shot of it.
So how long are you on the boat and how long are you off?
Usually 60 to 70 days on, 30 days off. When I come home, I usually try to come home for the month of May, month of August, and then November 1st I'm done for the year. So, like I said, this is my summer vacation.
So when do you start the season again?
Pretty quick. I'll be starting first week of March. First week of March. And I'm waiting for my knee to heal. The total, I had a total knee replacement this winter. So as soon as that happens, then I'll be ready to go. I think I'm ready now, but my doctor doesn't, so. He said, "Did you take any pain medication?" It's like, "No, I don't want it." There's a side shot, same place.
So what, wait, can you back that up a second?
Sure.
So what are we looking at?
That would be a side shot, of the towers, I call them.
The boat, they're on the boat, there's the deck.
Yeah. It's just a side shot.
That's Silver Bay?
Silver Bay.
So the boat is really, really close to the,
Really close. If you can spit off a B deck there and hit in between the boat and the water, you're
I
doing
mean,
good.
that, it seems remarkable that such a big ship can be,
Yeah, and it doesn't stop on a dime either.
I bet.
People think, oh yeah, it's bigger than a boat, you can just stop. No. When you see this the next slide coming into the locks, then you'll see it comes in nice and slow, and everything is like that. A lot of times it's like, come on, when they have a turn basin, they call it at the harbor, where he has to turn around when we go into dock 7 and unload. I don't have a picture of that, otherwise I would have showed you. But it's like, he has to turn around with the thruster, the bow thruster, and it's like, come on, pick up some speed, I'm getting off tonight, I wanna go home. And then he takes his time and he slows it down, and you're just creeping along dock 6 by the stone, and finally you get to dock 7, it's like, all right, hurry up, deckhands, get the line out, I wanna go. You know, now it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
How fast do they go?
How fast?
Mhm.
Well, that's a slow Joe, so I'd say about 20 miles an hour loaded. We get beat by everybody on the Great Lakes. The fastest boat was the Ryerson. I mean, we could pass them like they were standing still. And they didn't even have the nozzles. They'd open up the nozzles on them when they were in a race with somebody. Hurry up and get to a dock before beat them. There's another picture of it. Now here's Duluth. These are all chutes that come down. There. They're all for the material. They lower the chutes down in the cargo holes, and then they fill it up so much in each one to keep it balanced.
Is that ore, or what do you?
Iron ore.
Yeah.
Iron ore. And that's really close too. That's really close. Of course, you get good signal outside. Not in the boat, but outside. So, any questions?
Where do you go with the Oram?
Indiana,
Always.
always. East Chicago, enema of the world. There's nothing there.
So, where do you go on the different ships?
All over. That's the only thing I can tell you.
All over the Great Lakes.
All over the Great Lakes, Canada, Detroit, Ashtabula, Lorraine, every port. Well, Escanaba closed down. They're done now.
Oh, I do.
So you have Port Inland, the Stone Port, and then Cedarville. So that's basically all over the Great Lakes.
So have you been on all the 5 Great Lakes?
I've been on all 5.
You said Marinette closed, why are they out of? Or
Escanaba.
Escanaba,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
closed, never to be.
Never,
big
well,
ship in the- yeah.
it closed, Canadian National bought it,
Okay,
and they were running ore out of there. That was always their go-to spot. Like we do 2 Duluths and then we go do 3 Eskies. Kind of balance things out. And they just closed one day. They said, this is it, we're shutting the door. So you have they never did any work on the dock. If they do some work on the dock, they could have ore there. They have a mine like 20 miles away that they bring it down a rail car. But, yes,
Is there crew left on the block during the winter months when they're in port here?
no, everybody goes home. Everybody goes home.
So nobody stays at all, not even one person?
One person stays, the engineer that retired was gonna come up this winter, but he had a hernia. So we have Larry Noriad on the boat. He's married to Ann Neville. He's staying on the boat, and he has a crew of 4 or 5 that help him with stuff. He has to get everything ready to go for spring. Since we're the last one in and the first one out. But, I probably should talk about the food in the galley. I know some of you are, every Saturday night is steak night. Every Saturday night. Thicker the better cut for the boys. They like their steak. We got one guy that'll eat 5. 5. Yeah. How many ounces? There is no such thing as ounces. I mean, when we do T-bones, porterhouse, ribeyes, they're about 1.25 inches thick. That's the way I order them. I used to cut up a half a cow all the time. Ran my own hammer wood. They cut that out. Too much overtime. So now everything comes in boxes, just like at the store. And cryovac. You know, turkey. You want turkey? I've already had a 37-pound turkey I did on the grill. You know, when somebody requests something, I try to do it. Of course, my wife's not happy about it, because when I come home, I still cook like I'm on the boat. But the kids love it, because then they come over, hey, what are you having for dinner? You know, help yourself. It's there.
Any women on any of the boats? The ships?
There's some. They just had one on ours. I was off with this winter, and I guess she didn't cut the mustard. She didn't know how to order. I mean, how can you run out of bacon? You know, that's a staple. I mean, the guys do that with their little eggs in a bowl. And
So any other job on the boat a woman could do? Or
if they wanted to.
that you don't have?
No, we have a female engineer, but she's just like one of the guys, and that's the way we treat her. She's just like one of the guys. You know, in fact, I took her down to Green Bay last week so she could get her flight home. Stopped every night. She loves cheese curds. I always get an email from her. George, bring me 3 bags of cheese curds when you come back. I'm the chief engineer. Bring back some cheese curds. I'll never buy white cheese curds again. They explode. I like the gold ones better. Again, right from Renard's when I leave. But no, we just have the one engineer.
Can you talk about storms and weather? Is that,
Oh.
what's that like?
It was probably, we're in 2018, it'd have to be 2010, 2011. We were up on Lake Superior, and it was rough. It was rough. The wind was blowing like about 35, 40 miles an hour. We had 27-foot seas. And I tried to call home. I figured we were going to go down like the Fitz. I really did. Because she was like this and like this. If you watch out the door, you could see it flex. And we had stone in us. And I tried to call my wife to tell her we were in the storm, because she doesn't want me up on Lake Superior in November. And it's like, I better roll up my Gumby suit, which is a survival suit, in a bag, and you put bags over your feet so you can slide in, pull it on, zip it up. It's kind of cumbersome to wear, but it's supposed to save your life. Anyway,
It's insulated then from
it's
the cold,
insulated, yeah. I tried to call my wife, couldn't get through because of the storm, and nobody slept. Nobody slept on the boat that night. Everybody had the same idea I did. They had their suit rolled out on the floor. And it's like, God, if I get through this, I'm gonna retire. I swear to God, I'm gonna retire. We got out of it. We took the North Shore. We were headed up to Duluth. And the captain's like, well, you gonna retire? I said, nah, I think I'll stick around for a while and make you live miserable. So, but I am gonna retire in 1.5 years. I already put in for my pension, so.
But what's it like cooking in that condition?
You make it, you put bars on the stove, but nobody eats. Nobody eats. So you put it into steam tables. You know, we have regular steam tables like in colleges have, where you put about 1.5 inches of water in. Your food is in there in trays. Nobody eats. You know, yeah, they're all sick. On a regular day, you gotta I put tape on what's in there, because I got guys that'll lift the lid. Even though they can see what's in there on the tape, they can see what it is, they still have to lift the lid and look at it. It's like, what are you looking for? Well, I just want to see it. Well, it looks the same. You know? But, like I said, every Saturday steak. I love to do London broil. I love doing that on the grill. I like doing turkeys on the grill. Get away from the old oven roasted turkey. Everybody does oven roasted turkey. I do pork steak on the grill. A lot of cooks do it on the flat top. You know, one cook, all he did every day for lunch was French fries. It's like, really? I don't want French fries. You know, I just got back from vacation. What kind of fries are we having? Sweet potato fries. So when he left, I opened up the box. 40 bags of sweet potato fries. That's what everybody had. Well, that's sad to say they started disappearing out of the galley. He's like, hey, all my sweet potato fries went. Yeah, they went all right.
For the crew, is it like ordering off a menu that they pick, or does?
Everything's on computer, from the meat, cheese, milk, bread, butter, everything we need that we go through in the galley, baking supplies, and then we put how many we want, and then that gets faxed right to the office, and then the office sends it over to Strachan Van Teels. So everything is all set.
But how does the crew let you know what they want?
They tell me. They tell me.
So if they want hamburgers for lunch, and everybody gets hamburgers, or? Okay. Basically, hamburgers is usually a lot of the old guys. When I was second cook, they do hamburgers for lunch and steak at night. Well, that's too much beef for me, and I love my beef. You know, and I try telling these guys, oh, can't do it. Lent season, a couple of the old timers, they'd have fish, tomato soup, grilled cheese, anything without meat. You know, it's like, come on. God's not going to strike you dead if you have a piece of meat. Let's face it. I was born, raised, and baptized Catholic, and I'm still living. You know. Years ago, we used to drink on the boat. Now they cut all that out. Zero tolerance. Yeah. The different fleets, they go around, and they said, well, you guys got to join in, so inland did. No more drinking. No more drinking.
But when you're in port, can you go into town?
Oh yeah, you can go into town. You can go into town.
How often do you get to go into town?
Pretty much at every port. Pretty much at every port. Indiana's better because my truck is there. Then I can just hop in my truck and go. I know where I'm going. You know.
Up the street, as the guys would say.
Up the street. Yep. You got her. You got her. Escanaba, everybody went to Wheats. That was the center of, you know. You could mail stuff there. It would be there for you. Your wife could pick you up there, whatever, you know, drop you off there if you had to wait for the boat in Escanaba. But he died. He's no longer in business, so that ended that.
Where would you go if you were at inland, Port Inland? There's not much of a town near there.
Go to the casino.
Oh, the casino. How long is it? I mean, I remember when the casino wasn't there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go to Gulliver. There was an older fella that used to come down and pick you up and take you to town in Manistee.
Manistee. Okay.
And he'd take you in town for like $5 to $7. And they had, I forget what it was, Bridgeview Bar or Bridge Bar or whatever. And you'd sit in there all afternoon. And then, of course, he sat in there with you. You know? And then he'd take you back to the boat. So. And then, like, if you go to Cedarville, there's bars there. They had another old timer that come down. That's where I met a friend of my dad's. He was in the bar there drinking, and he was talking about Sturgeon Bay for some reason. He goes, Sturgeon Bay? I grew up there. Axel Swan. I said, oh yeah? What's your name? He said, Swan. I said, oh, you probably know my dad, Bruce Oram. I know that SOB, he said. He said, yeah, that's my pa. So then we started talking. And him and my dad lived next door to each other up on 5th Avenue. So when I got home, I told my dad, and he goes, really? You talked to Putto? I said, yeah, I talked to him. He was at to drift in. Well, there was him and 2 other guys. They live in Sault Ste. Marie, so they drive around to a different bar every day. And I just happened to meet him there. Just happened to meet him there. How do I bring that up, Mary, for the coming in the locks?
Keep going. We still got a few slides to go through. Okay.
This is a nice one here, you'll see. I think it's common. It's a nice job if you like the peace and solitude out there. You gotta like to be by yourself. Of course, the money's really good. That's one thing, you never make that kind of money in town. You can work your life at the shipyard. You never make it. The boy works at the shipyard. He goes, oh, I got another week of vacation this year. I said, oh yeah, how many does that give you? 2 weeks.
So
I
what
said,
are the downsides?
being away,
Yeah, and
being
your
away.
family, your kids, yeah.
Missing anniversaries, kids growing up, birthdays, baptisms, a lot of that stuff. Fortunately, I was home. I got to see all my grandchildren being born. Well, they were already born when I got home.
But they were there and little.
Yeah, well, when you come home, you got to learn to back off because the wife's the boss. I mean, I remember arguing with my wife. She put everything on the left side of the sink. I wanted everything in the right. So I fought for 30 days over something stupid. You know, I said, put them dishes in the right side. No, I run the house while you're gone. So we go back to the board.
You gotta admit
Yeah.
that,
Now this is coming in the locks. Like I was telling this lady here, everything is slow. There's also 24 hatches on this boat. I had pictures at home that I took with the Instamatic out the door. They have their own porthole. Where the waves are crashing over the bow and they're landing by hatch 23. That was that storm up on Lake Superior.
Do you have pilots doing this?
Yeah, captain's up there. He's usually right in that center window up in the pilot house. He's got the controls right there. And that emblem right there, that's the thruster. Foot's usually right up in that window there.
By comparison, how hard is it to bring up the ship into Sturgeon Bay with those two bridges that
Oh, you gotta hit them just right.
I know.
You gotta hit them just right.
I mean, are there other places like that where you,
Detroit.
Detroit is the
Yeah.
one?
I never noticed a GM building in Detroit. That's quite a building they have.
Are they manually driving this, or is it all GPS?
Oh no, they're manually driving. Slow and easy. He's coming right into the locks.
So
And
how
like a,
fast is he going there?
about a half mile an hour.
Have you ever been on a boat where there's a captain that made mistakes doing this?
Yeah, we call them cowboys.
So they just run into docks or they?
Hit docks, hit barges, hit bridges. I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. I felt the bounce.
Seems really hard.
Do you do anything along Lake Michigan outside of Manitowoc and those areas?
Just run the shoreline in the fall. That's the time I look forward to. Yeah, then we get good cell signal all the way down the lake. And all the dirty laundry goes off at the Sioux. And then downbound you pick it up. They have the bags.
So when
Captain loves boats.
I would have thought you'd have laundry on the boat, you know?
I'm not washing somebody's sheets. In fact, if I could, I'd put rubber gloves up to my shoulder if I had to. Because I don't know what I don't know if he's got stiff sores, I don't know if he has bed sores, I don't know if he has finger, I don't know. I don't wanna take a chance. I've seen some pretty nasty stuff over the years.
What did their horn signal?
He was coming in the locks.
Where's the kitchen?
In the back, you'll see it. You'll see me in a little while.
Oh, okay.
This is a boom right here. The unloading boom. We're at dock 2 unloading and they swing it over low. And right here, on the starboard side, one of the trucks was coming through, had the back raised up, hit the boom, made the whole boat rock. So the guy had to stop right there. And then they had to call ABS man to come down and make sure the boat was okay to continue on. And this little rail here, it's on both sides, port and starboard. That was made at Marine Travel Lift. That's for lifting the hatch covers. So besides the boat being built at Sturgeon Bay, there are some parts from Sturgeon Bay on it. And that white line you see, that was one of the things they used to have to scrub on a daily basis. Scrub the white line. As you can see, they've gotten away from it. But this is a slow process coming into the locks.
Is there a certain maintenance time period where they have to take the boat, like to Bay Ship and have maintenance done?
In the winter, you know, the wintertime layup right now, and when you leave, you never leave on a Friday. We left on a Friday on the Cornelius, we're back every 11 to 12 days. You never leave on a Friday shipyard.
Why?
It's just taboo. Superstition, it's taboo. In fact, the one year on this boat, they have us sitting in the ice with the bridge up. We had Schwartel. He was out of the MMP, Meets Masters and Pilots. We sat on the other side of Michigan Street Bridge for 3 days. He wanted his captain's pay. Finally, Lee Barr said, back it in and get him in. They want to go home. That was the year we had 7 days off.
When did the winter fleet start here in Sturgeon Bay?
Some of them came in November.
But I mean, like, what year? Has that been going on?
Oh, it's been going on forever. It's been going on forever. They do what they can. A lot of the boats have to be reworked, boiler work, engine work. Our boat, it has too many things. They try to get through what they can. It's a safe boat, but they got to get it all done in a time frame so we can leave.
What about safety checks? Are they required to do it?
Oh yeah.
Is that a yearly thing?
That's all the time. Lockout, take out for electrical. Everything's all been implemented. Engineer comes through the galley, checks the electrical on everything, cords, make sure we have the right fire extinguishers. Even on the deck, when we use a hatch crane, make sure that there's no wear or fray marks on the electrical line, because that's 440 volts. That thing go right in the dry dock, they do the hull underneath. They just replaced 175 feet on the port side and 220 on the starboard side. Because the water wears down the plate. It's half-inch plate, and wore it down.
Now your rooms in this area right now?
No, my room's not. That's the post office there at the Sioux. That's where you get all your mail and packages. My wife used to send me a care package every winter. She'd have custard-filled donuts in there from the bakery. You all know that guy there. So I told the deckhand, I said, my last name is spelled O-R-A-M. Yeah, I'll get it. I don't think he can read or spell.
3 different trips. Finally, I told the old man, I said, I know the stuff is at the sewer. I want my stuff. Well, custards can have green on them.
So is the galley on that level or is it
Yep,
below?
this is the galley right here, and that's my room right there, the lady that was asking.
Oh, in the gray, you couldn't see the gray area?
The gray,
Yeah, okay.
the second porthole there.
So you have light in.
Yep,
And the galley's on the first floor or?
right through the door there, that's the galley.
Oh, okay.
So how many grills do you have when you grill out?
Just a big Weber,
So where did the other 19 or 18 sleep? All in that room?
all above.
Oh, all up there, okay.
Yeah, you have another galley worker to the right,
Mhm.
bosun's to the left, Q-meds on the sides, both sides.
How about the captain?
They're the next level up. Passenger lounge is right here, and these are all mates and captain's room on the sides.
Are there passengers? They let passengers go?
Every once in a while, they let some go. They're like, oh, this is so neat, I can see doing this for a living. Well, then do it for a living. It's not so neat when you gotta do it every day. And they always want something special, you know, you gotta run hors d'oeuvre trays up to them and omelets and whatever. One lady, oh, I'm seasick. But years ago on the Ryerson, they used to bring booze down in cases. And we had to check it all in. Go ahead.
Other than getting a job and knowing the owner, how do you get a ride on one of these?
They have raffles right now, I guess, on boat trips.
One in Sioux and in Duluth. There's no boat that runs any commercial, passenger service.
Unless you know Tom Waiters for a company.
That's what I'm saying, unless you know the owner.
Yeah, he handles everything.
Bad luck.
But getting back to the booze, they used to bring it down in cases and that all had to be checked in on the Ryerson. So they'd bring it up and bring it in the galley in the back, and you put it on a table and go through it. Ooh, Tanqueray gin, yeah, that looks pretty good. And they'd say, what have you been doing with that? I'm taking it to my room. I'm not paying for it there. Well, by the time they were done, there was bottles of it up there. And I don't do whiskey or brandy, so I'd take the gin. You know, scotch. Vern would take that. But that was a good boat, the Ryerson. That was a good boat. Cornelius was even better. That was a good boat. In fact, she was a lot like the Joel. I wish they would have kept the Cornelius. They leased it though, through American Steamship. And it had a lot of, that was their salt boat, so all the rollers down in the engine room had to be replaced on the tunnel. And the boom, she was a good riding boat though.
How do you guys get paid? Oh, excuse me. And how much cash do you need to get by on the boat?
According to my wife, I don't need any cash. I get paid every 2 weeks, checks go right to her. She doesn't think I need any money. So that's why I keep a separate bank account just for myself. Yes?
Yeah, tell us about, on the Ryerson, what was it, Northwestern Mutual Life that owned the, I think owned the boat?
They owned the boat.
Right.
At one time.
Right, at one time. Okay, up in the front with, where the guest quarters were, they've got that thing of the 5 Great Lakes.
Yeah, the magnetic board.
Yeah, and then there's the tracings
Yeah.
going from, Superior to the locks, down to Chicago, down to Ohio, and it's been traced over and over and over.
There's marks, you can follow it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
practically put your finger in it.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
that's in the passenger lounge.
Yeah.
And when I started on the Sykes, I was on the Sykes for 2 years. Then they brought the Ryerson out, and Lori Johnson asked me if I'd go over on the Ryerson and open up the galley. I said, yeah, I will. Well, I was walking around one day. Wow, they got bathtubs up forward. That's kind of nice. I want to soak in a tub. So I walk up through the faux leather tunnel. They have one on the port and starboard side. Goes along on the inside of the boat and come up in the forward end. So I'm in there. I got the door locked, you know, so nobody can get in the passenger lounge. I got the tub filling up, and I'm just, oh man, this feels good, you know, nice big tub. So I'm in there for about an hour. Let everything go. drain the tub, wipe it out, best I could, open the door, oh, captain's not here, so I'm gonna go. Next, 2 days later, he come down, somebody's going in that passenger lounge, he says. So what do you mean? Somebody's going in there and they're taking a bath, there's water all over the place. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm thinking, there's no water, I'm wiping everything up as I go. So 2 days later, I wait, I go back up there, I just come out of the room, I look down the hallway, no captain. Where are you going with that bundle of towels? Oh, I said, I was just cleaning out the bathtubs, they said. You said there was water in there, the one was leaking. Well, call the engine room, he says, they'll have to fix that faucet. To this day, he never knew I was taking a bath. Then we had, he was a wheelsman. He come down in a shower cap and slippers and a brush. He says, hey, do you think the chief will let me use his bathtub? And we had Davey Hunt on the boat. He was the chief. I said, yeah, go knock on his door. He'll let you use his tub. So he knocks on his door. He's got his brush in his hand. He says, hey, he says, can I use your bathtub? Wham! They shut the door. He says, I thought you said he'd let me use it. I said, maybe change his mind. I just walked away. Any other questions?
What makes you go, you worked on the different shifts, so what makes you change? Is it like changing the job because now you're working for a whole different company?
No, it's not like changing a job, it's moving all my crap from one boat to another. You know, years ago I had a lot of stuff, now I hardly have anything.
But you have a different boss, a different owner, a different,
No, our boats, when ArcelorMittal took over Lakshmir Middle, we couldn't be owned by a foreign company. So they had to do something. So they have a dummy corporation, which is American, which are all our boats are registered in. The Ryerson, the Sykes, and the Joe.
Okay.
So
all our boats, so who owns all those boats?
Chicago Steamship actually owns them.
Okay.
They actually own them.
So your paycheck is from the Chicago Steam?
No, ArcelorMittal, Mattel Steel.
Okay.
ArcelorMittal.
So it doesn't matter which boat you go on, so then
Nope.
you might just switch for the heck of it, or they need a cook and
Yeah.
the other one doesn't, or whatever.
Yeah, the one year Lori kept me jumping back and forth from boat to boat. It's like, am I ever gonna get back to the Joe Block? My stuff's on board. Well, what do you need? I need some of my galley whites. Well, you'll be in. I was on the Sykes then. She said, well, they'll be in at the harbor tomorrow, so you can walk over there and grab some. Well, we were getting ready to back out, and I told the captain, I said, I gotta go over on the Joe and get some clothes. You know, he said, go ahead. So I keep my locker locked. I just got what I needed, and I was back on the boat, and away we went. You know, but it's a fun job. I mean, you're just going from boat to boat. Back then, I was jumping from boat to boat, but it kind of screwed up with your vacation time.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to get off, you can't get off because you're cooking, and then you got to wait for relief. Now come the urine tests. Well, I call it the wiener wagon. So here's a fruity tootie on the phone. Oh yeah, it's like, come on, it's 1:30 at night. I want to get going. Captain told me, he says, you can't leave till you pee in a cup for a drug test. I said, really? So the guy's talking on the phone. I said, come on, I want to get going. You know, I got to drive to Sturgeon Bay. Oh, that's quite a ways away. I said, yeah, my wife, she'd like to get pregnant, and I'd like to be home for the blessed event. I said, leave the bathroom door open, and I'll pee in a cup. You know, I don't care at this point. And the captain's like, calm down, calm down. I said, no, I'm not calming down. I said, tell him to get off his damn phone, get the cup, and I'll pee in it. So the guy did, you know. So when I got back to the boat in 30 days, captain called me off to the side. He says, that guy will never be back. I said, good. He goes, what do you mean? I said, good, I'm glad he's not coming back. We don't need him on the boat. Because they come down, your name is at random. Half the crew gets a urine test, the other half doesn't. Well, for some reason, they were hitting me every month, which is fine. I got nothing to hide. But they look for THC, marijuana, anything, opiates, cocaine. If any stuff is in your system, Coast Guard's pulling your license. They're pulling your license. And that's the biggest thing out there. We lose more people that figure they can get away with a little bit of marijuana. You know, a friend of mine was in Maine. lost $160,000 a year job. I said, really? That high was that important to you? We could've went up the street and drank beer half the night, you know. Any other questions? Yes?
When did the bumboat stop running? They used to come and meet the ships at the dock all the time.
2005. 2006, one came out in Duluth. He was selling used stuff. He wasn't the original.
That was the Marine Trader?
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what is that?
Bumboat. You could get anything you wanted. Underwear, t-shirts, deodorant, toothpaste, beer, booze, porn, anything you wanted. Bring your draw checks down there and the guy'd have a big wad of dough, he'd cash them. And, yeah, if you were lucky enough to have that. Some wives feel as though their husbands don't need any money. Yes?
So I have a question, since you get to see the various ports. Is the infrastructure to unload a straight decker still in place, or has that all been pretty much cut up for scrap? That
No,
they'd have
it's-
to use cranes and clamshells now?
The cranes at Dock 2 are blocked. They don't use them anymore. I think the Ryerson was the last one when we were on there. And then they have to take the bucket off. They have to call the material handlers, I think they're called. And they had two little dozers they'd lower in, cargo holes, one here and one up forward, and then they'd scrape the ore. I spend many hours down there on overtime shoveling ore in the buckets with the cats to get it clean, because it had square cargo holes, you know, and there's no unloading boom on it. So you spent 3 days down at the harbor, 3.5 days.
But you said they used to be able to unload them quite a bit faster than that?
On the Joe Block, you can unload within 12 hours if you really push it.
Oh, because you have a self-unloader.
Self-unloader, yeah. Cornelius the same way. Sykes the same way. The Ryerson was kind of limited. Being a straight decker, there was only Dock 2 we could go to. There's one up in Canada, St. Catharines, we can go to, but there we just load bauxite. And then they have to change everything around at Dock 2 in order to unload it, because it comes in chunks. So.
Where's Dock 2?
East Chicago, Indiana. I probably should have mentioned that. It's right next door to Dock 7 and 6 and 5. And if you look at the picture, when you come out with your mom to our house, I'll show you Dock 7 and you can see it. I got 3 boats in a picture of Dock 7 last year at our safety meeting. I'll show it to you when you come out.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Yes?
Which Adam E. Cornelius were you on?
I think it was the second one.
That's what the picture looked like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was on the second one.
The Adam E. Cornelius III was made right behind Ryerson.
Yeah, that she was made in Lorraine, I think. Manitowoc. Yeah. I know when I got to Toledo where they laid up, my boss called me and she said, I got a small job for you, would you take it? I said, what is it? She goes, go to Toledo. I don't know what the boxes look like, but clean them out, get the galley ready to go. I said, okay. So I left home, drove to Toledo. I should have stayed home. There was that much blood in the box dried out. I spent 9 hours inside the box cleaning, but it was a good boat otherwise.
Where was the Ryerson made? Was that?
Manitowoc.
Okay.
My grandpa dug the spur out so they could get it out of the
Where is it now?
Superior. That's where it'll probably stay unless it comes out either Beck or Gillette or Schick.
Some of you are probably ready to go home. So if there are others of you who have questions, you can stick around for a little bit. But let's give them a big round of Thank you.
I hope I answered all your questions.
You did.
Hope I didn't screw you up too bad.
You can come up and ask.
November. I'm ready to go. Dr. Linehan says Bill told me to stay off the ice and deer hunting.